Hey, you guys, welcome back to another edition of the I Am Worthy podcast. I am Brittany Noel, therapist, host, speaker, entrepreneur, coach. You guys know that here on the podcast, I'm none of those things. I'm just your friend because we're all in our own personal journeys trying to become the next version of ourselves. And that's what we meet here for every week. So today is going to be absolutely no different. The topic that I want to talk about today is going to be, it's actually a topic that was picked by our videographer, okay? Randomly. But in random conversation, one of the things that came up was, how do you recover from people pleasing? And one of the things that I will say is that when it comes to people pleasing, you have to understand your motive, right? Know that every time every time that we are showing a behavior that we do not like, there's always a reason behind it. There's always a why behind what we do. So your job is to figure out the why so that I can change what I do and how I show up in my life. People pleasing is absolutely no different. What I'll talk to you about today is one of the main reasons why I think most people please. Now understand, there's a whole bunch of reasons, and the reasons change depending on the individual person. But one of the things that I will say is that one of the whys behind people pleasing and what consistently drives that behavior is going to be the idea and the concept of conflict. Okay? Now, people pleasers are typically afraid to have conflict with other people, which means holding others accountable, setting boundaries with other people, telling other people when something is not okay, asking for what they need from other people, letting people know when they have crossed an area that they don't have access to. So people pleasers have a hard time raising issues with other people because they don't see the issues as a way or an opportunity to build connection. They see the issues as a way to build disagreement or a way to disconnect. A lot of people pleasers are afraid of people leaving them. If I bring up my issue, if I tell them what's wrong, then it'll be an argument. We'll disconnect, we'll shut down. And so out of fear of what will happen because of the conflict, they choose not to express how they feel. Instead, they just go along with what the other person wants. Now, on the flip side of this, people pleasers are also afraid of conflict with themselves. And I think this is the bigger issue, that conflict with yourself means that in order for me to hold other people accountable for how they show up in my life, I would first have to hold myself accountable. And people are afraid of the conflict that goes in, literally the argument you have with yourself about, why am I letting this person show up this way in my life? Why am I allowing myself to be treated this way? What is it about me that has identified this behavior to be normal? So there's a lot of internal conflict that happens. Like, you can literally be at war with yourself about why you're letting other people show up in your life the way that you are. And if you are afraid to address yourself, you will never address other people. So I want you guys to get comfortable with conflict with other people and conflict with yourself. Understand that conflict does not always mean separation. It does not always mean disconnection. That I want you to have a perspective shift with how you view conflict. Conflict can be an opportunity. Even in relationships, I tell couples all the time that when you guys have conflict in a relationship, that it doesn't have to represent a breakdown unless you want it to. That sometimes the conflict can represent an opportunity for us to learn more about each other, for us to learn how to operate differently in the relationship, for us to grow closer together, for us to build intimacy. Conflict simply means, hey, a stop sign is here. We need to do something different. Okay? So when you see conflict arising in your relationships and with yourself, see it as an opportunity to respond differently. How do I want to show up in this moment empowered? How do I want to show up in this moment sure of myself? How do I want to show up in this moment true to what I need and what gives me fulfillment? Not what's going to have me in regret and shame later. Okay? Now, understand, recovering from the behavior of people pleasing takes time. It really does. Because you're going to have to get comfortable with the opportunities as they come and go. to lean more into hearing your own voice and then also vocalizing what it is that you heard. So give yourself time, give yourself grace. Understand that this process is not going to be a quick one. Okay. Understand that it's not going to be an easy one. It's going to make you feel very uncomfortable. When you first make that shift from being passive to moving into assertion, it can be very disruptive, not just for yourself, but also the people around you. Okay. So for the word of the day, you guys, is conflict. Write it down on your notepad, write it on your mirror, write it down where you can see it, put it in your phone notes. Conflict is my opportunity to do something different. In the comments down below, let me know what you guys are going to do with this opportunity for conflict. Let me know how you're going to respond differently from the situations where you feel like you're only making decisions to please other people and not yourself. Let me know how you plan to hold yourself accountable when it comes time for you to stand up for what you need to yourself, not even to other people. Okay? Let me know so that I can engage with you guys in the comments. I look forward to hearing what you guys have to say about this episode. I look forward to some future episodes. I got some really nice guests lined up. So stay tuned until our next amazing I Am Worthy episode. I will talk to you guys later.